Hi comrades, it's your comrade, Joseph Stalin. Today I'm debuting as a VTuber. As you can see, I have a VTuber avatar. I made it myself, but I'm going to talk about the model more later on in the video. First of all, I'm going to introduce myself. I made a neat character sheet about it, and I'm going to go through it to explain myself. And here it comes. And here's the character sheet. I'm just going to go through it point by point to explain myself. First point being my name. Probably already heard about it, but yes, I am Joseph Stalin, former leader of the USSR. And you may be thinking, well, I died. But I'm sorry, in politics you sometimes have to fake your death, like Kennedy did. Oh. Sorry, John, wasn't supposed to say that. But anyway, you can also become a VTuber like me. So next, my age. Well, as I said before, I faked my death at one point, and that point was nearly 70 years ago, so I'm already more than a century old. Can't really say the secret, because there might be unsavory people listening to this. You really don't want that secret to go to. So perhaps later, when I've dealt with those people, I'll come back to that point. Next, my sex. Probably the least shocking thing about me. I'm male. And something a bit more shocking, not to you, but actually to me, is my birth date. It's the 18th of December. It was always the 6th of December, but at one point, the Russian Empire went from the old style system for dating. It was the Julian calendar, I believe, to the Gregorian calendar, and that left 12 days at that point. And so it suddenly changed. It got close to Christmas, which is kind of annoying, but back in the day we didn't celebrate Christmas. Yeah. For Christians it might be an issue, but not for me. So that's my birthday. And next, just blood type. I don't know. I haven't had any infusions or had blood taken from me, donated to the hospital because it wasn't needed. Hospitals under my reign were, of course, very well taken care of. So next, my birthplace, Gori. It was in Georgia. Back then it was, of course, the Russian Empire. Things changed during the course of history, but at least the places stay on the same place. So maps, well, sometimes they get outdated, but at least the shapes don't get outdated, hopefully. Next is height, and I'm quite tall, so I just wrote down looking down on you. Because mostly I'm just looking down on you physically, but for those who aren't comrades, I'm not just looking down on you physically, but also morally. Thus, of course, communism is morally superior, as you should know. And that brings us to the next topic, weight, which, well, back in the day I always had a problem of not having enough food, but in modern societies you have the problem of having too much food. You should do everything in moderation. I'm succeeding quite well at that, so I thought it was just enough. Next, my hair and my eye color. Well, it's the same with my model as in real life. It's just my hair is gray, my eyes are brown, of course. My hair becomes gray because I was getting old. And also because I got exposed to quite a bit of radiation. As you know, during the Cold War, I had done some nuclear experiments in Siberia. And back then, technology wasn't as advanced about those things as we have now. So some background radiation just accelerated decaying of the pigments in my hair. That's just a bit of fancy talk for saying it lost its color. Speaking of nukes, the next topic is sunglasses. Didn't just write it down because it looks cool on the beach, but because it's necessary when you're looking at the thermonuclear reaction Sorry, English isn't my first language, as you guys probably know. Moving on to handedness. I'm of course right-handed. Even if I weren't, the teachers would have beaten the left-handedness out of me. Luckily, I strive for a more equal and communistic world where everyone can have the handedness they want, even a handicap. Speaking of handicaps, I kind of acquired one because my type of voice, well, you can just hear it, but I'm a bit cautious with it because, well, back in the day I was a very boisterous talker, very good politics, but it kind of had a cost, and later in life I learned about that you reveal too much secrets and that you insult or make too many enemies with it. So I'm a bit more, well, shy, I would say. Shy is a bit weird to say. Clumsy, perhaps. Well, I'm just slow with my words. That's perhaps the best type of, what do you call it? Mannerism with my voice. And you may also see this in the recording that there are just sometimes a bit many jump cuts because I have to edit out wrong parts and re-record it. Sorry about that. Right, next. Just my health. I haven't had any surgeries. Teeth are perfectly fine. Surprising at this kind of age, but well, if you also reach this kind of age, you know how to take care of yourself and how to check up. Because as good as doctors can be, they're fallible. I'm not saying don't listen to them, just do what they do. Do what they do, I mean, do what they say. Well, if you do what they do, it's also fine, unless you have a weight handicap. Moving on, let's scroll down. It's quite a big character sheet, but we're halfway through. Here, I'll just let you see. You can pause the video. And well, next, well, I didn't feel anything in distinctive physical characteristics because, well, I'm not very exquisite in my looks. And it's mostly my uniform. I also already like my uniform. Many pictures of me have a very, very nice uniform about me. But physically, it's, well, nothing much. Just a bushy mustache and grey hair. Well, at least I'm not like some Austrian painter that has a weird mustache. Alright. Well, more differences between me and that guy is the race. I'm actually human. Yeah, I know. I look like an anime character or something. But that's just a model. Don't worry, guys. I'm really a man. And I can prove it. You see, when you have a website and it says, "Are you a robot?" It has a box. You have to click on that box. And I can actually click on that box. So I'm at least not a robot. What doesn't prove that I'm a human, but it disproves that I'm a robot. Or one of those deepfake things. You know, deepfake, that voice changing software or something. I don't know exactly what it is. But it can replicate your voice and make you say things that you didn't say. Pretty scary stuff, actually. Nice segue to the next part. The religion. And it seems like I try to avoid controversy by just saying no. But it's because I'm an atheist. I've seen what the religion can do. I saw Rasputin, the priest, at the Romanovs' court. The Romanovs were the Tsars of Russia. And he was pretty messed up. And that's when I definitely became disillusioned with religion. So just know. You can keep your religion or unless I get back in power and it becomes annoying for me, then you can't. speaking of me in power, I got some awards for being in power. I did give them to myself, but that's not an issue, I think. So first of all, hero of the Soviet Union, and the second part is part of that, winner of World War II. I have a lot more prestigious awards, but that's just a laundry list, and I thought this summarized most of them. I won World War II, by the way, in case you didn't know. And if you didn't know that, the next part might shock you. I'm a communist, quite a fanatic one at that. And don't worry, I'm not gonna indoctrinate you or fill your head with propaganda yet. Oh shit, I can't wink. Sorry, insert wink here. And that's about the revolutionary communist part. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And next, this is the part most of you probably want to know. I'm a student of history, and I'm a pretty much self-taught student of history. Not self-taught as in I went to every grave and ruin and searched it all myself, but I mostly did it by books. I didn't have a great teacher. Well, I had some in lower school, but that hardly was anything. I just read a lot, a real lot. And there was a really nice series of, now ancient books that pretty much detailed the history of everything from ancient times to the 19th century. I said it was an old series. And, it was one book per 100 years, roughly. And there was 20 books in total. So they skipped a lot with ancient times. So, for example, the first book was 3000 to 1500 BC, and then 1500 to 500, etc. That summarizes pretty well. That's where I got most of my knowledge about history. And speaking of knowledge, this is knowledge I'm not going to share with you. My sexual history, there's some speculation about it, and there's also some Rule 34 on the internet. If you're interested in that kind of thing, please don't send it to me. But please don't mention it, because it's something I want to keep hidden, keep private. And something I don't need to keep hidden is the people I like and the people I hate. Well, it also goes in these extremes. There's probably no in between with me. It's either one or the other. And starting off with the person whose ideology I adopted, Karl Marx. Perhaps I'm not allowed to say that on the internet, but I am not allowed to do a lot of things that I did. And I'm not going to go into detail, though. That would get me kicked off of sites like YouTube. But, I adopted his ideology, so pretty good plus for him. Pretty good scholar, politician. And speaking of politicians, Lenin, my comrade, my ally, my predecessor. I adopted the position of USSR leader after Lenin died. He officially said that I wasn't the preferred candidate, but secretly I was the preferred candidate. He was just being tsundere about it. You guys know what it is, right? Well, look it up if you don't. No. Well, next. Are you guys my audience? Which I don't have yet until you guys show up. But I hope I get to learn from you guys. Get to learn what you are like. Yeah. Hope you don't send sexual history I talked about earlier to me. And well, I don't want to get too many expectations on you, burning you with that. I'm just gonna see what happens. But I love you anyway. Next, gonna move out of the way. Not that fast, but I'm now down here. If you didn't notice, probably did. Next, people I hate. Of course, the capitalists. Well, I adopted Carl's ideology for a reason. And that was because you get to hate capitalists. They do plenty wrong, but well, at least there's still people I've met worse. Can't tell you about the worst, though. Best if you keep that secret. It's some horror movie kind of stuff. But, well, it's good to see it in horror movies, but in real life, you don't want to know about it. Also said, especially Trotskyist. I'll have to move around. Can't see my lower part because, as I said before, I have lost a lot of weight. And, well, I didn't just lose it by, what do you call it, exercising. It was surgery. Don't worry, I have robotic legs. Can attach. And, well, I got those robotic legs with money. But the good kind of money, the USSR money that is based on effort and only effort, instead of the fake currencies. What do you call it? When it's not based on gold anymore. And then I should have looked this up before. It's not faux, but well, the current type of currencies such as the dollar, the euro, the yen, etc. Based on the strengths of a nation's economy. That's what I hate, to be clear. Alright, moving on. The dreams for the future. To start off with is what I've worked for all my life. A perfect communist utopia. Well, to explain that, well, there's many books written about it, Das Kapital primarily. And it's a kind of utopia where there's no more money or need, and everyone just works to improve themselves and to benefit one another. And it's pretty much like Star Trek. And well, if you achieve it, you probably can invent stuff like the what do you call it? The big 3D printer, the replicator, and stuff. So yeah, that's what I hope for, and of course I've worked for. Now I'm also working for another thing. Well, more subscribers, more of you guys to enjoy my videos, and of course know some memes. So I just choose the wheat number as my ambition. Well, even if I don't make it to this specific number, just knowing that you guys find this entertaining is enough for me, and I hope enough for you as well. And next, the opposite of this, my fears. First of all, betrayal. People have called me paranoid before. It's because I had a legitimate reason to be quote-unquote paranoid. Move my arms yet. They also need robotic assistance. But that's part of the betrayal. Regarding paranoia, people will often call you paranoid when you have legitimate reason to be paranoid. And I was, of course, a high-ranking figure in a superpower. Was the most high-ranking figure in the best superpower that I know of, the USSR. And that gives you a lot of enemies, and lot of ambitious people that will betray you at the drop of a hat, like Trotsky, the one mentioned. Well, I actually didn't mention him, but he doesn't deserve to be mentioned because he betrayed me. And the next part, well, it may not sound like me, but I'm afraid of failure. And that is because I've seen what it is like when you fail at something important. Of course, not afraid of simple failures like stumbling on my words or improperly improperly editing this video. You can also see me stumbling over my words. But those things, well, they have a minor impact, but not world-shattering. While things like losing World War II is catastrophic, as literally world-ending consequences. And I was in a position where if I made too many mistakes or too big of a mistake, those things could happen. Luckily, I haven't, but I am not done with my work yet, so it can still happen. But you guys don't need to be worried about making such big mistakes. I'll forgive you for at least most mistakes. Because, as it says with personality traits, I'm very forgiving. And you'll probably not be in a situation where the literal fate of the world hangs on your shoulders. But don't worry, you can still make an impact, each and every one of you, because it's not the one big action that changes the world, but every little action, every small kindness, kind of like in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, the theme that Tolkien wanted to portray. That applies also to real life. So if you feel like your life is kind of useless or meaningless, know that even if you do a small change, a small improvement, all the little things add up and your contribution matters. Even if you don't succeed at the first opportunity, the first time, if you eventually, well, help the world. Well, help the world sounds a bit grandiose. Help someone. You should start with that probably. Help one person. If you can help one person, you can start from that and improve later to help more people. So if you try that, I'll forgive you for any mistakes you make. The next part is off to the gulag with you, or in Russian, or Old Russian, suka bliat. Nowadays it has a different meaning. Since I faked my death, I haven't been able to correct many people the correct term, but nowadays it's become a curse word, so you'll not be hearing me say it much. And oh yeah, I'm supposed to talk about gulag stuff. Back when I was in control of the Soviet Union, gulag was very simple. It was a re-education camp, not meaning the mean re-education camp, really just a camp for self-improvement for people who had issues with authority or with change, who could vent their frustration and learn about the new world order. And of course, who was in charge? And that was me. And when they came out of that, they came out as a productive citizen, so consider them a success. And next, well, there's not much left. And these aren't interesting parts. My relationships, well, I've had relationships, but I haven't put much attention into them, much effort. Not for lack of want, but because I have had to spend my time and effort on the revolution and managing the USSR. And that also comes to the next part. All that time spending at work that complicates your family life. It sounds like a drama or a movie, but in real life that also happens. Hope it hasn't happened to you. Having a healthy family is, of course, important. But in some situations, it's more important that your work comes first. Yeah, I think that's it for the character sheet. We went through it all. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments down below. So now I'm gonna go back to my flag as background and talk about my model more. Alright, so now I'm gonna talk about my model. It's quite a simple VTuber model. I made it using VROID Studios. I didn't make the uniform. I imported it from Booth. I found it quite nice. I had to modify it quite a bit. But that's how I made the uniform. Just imported it and shifted the dimensions a bit. Regarding the rest, so the eyes, the moustache, and the hair, yes, I did all that by myself. And you may be wondering why the moustache is a bit small. It's because there were some clipping issues if I made it bigger. So that's why there's quite a distance between my moustache and the upper part of my mouth, my upper lip. And the streaming software I use is OBS, and for the avatar itself, the movement and tracking, I use VC Face. It unfortunately doesn't have eye tracking, so the eyes move randomly around, but the rest is capturing quite nicely. I'm surprised by the movement of my mouth, that it is using it quite well. So, that's the kind of software I use, and why the mustache isn't bigger. There's something else I need to show you. That's different expressions. This is my smiling, and this is angry, I think, or excited. Let's see. I can see the side. Well, I've got to make it a bit smaller. There. I'm normally hiding this just with the click of a button. See only the right small part. But now in VC Face, as you can see on the top left, you can go to settings, settings, and expression, and just neutral. It's Shift F1, that's this. Then fun, it's this one. Scrolling down, it's angry. Oh, wait. Addictive, that's not much of a difference. Joy. Yeah, now you can see the clipping issues with my mustache. And this is, I don't really like this face. It's a bit too cartoony for me. So, moving on. Sorrow. When I learn about betrayal and stuff. Collapse of the USSR. I'm gonna make this face. And when I read mean comments, if I get mean comments, it will be an achievement, but it will be kind of like a Pyrrhic victory. I win, but at what cost? And the last phase, surprise, when I actually get an audience, and a good audience, the kind of audience that understands memes. Can't really speak very well. Probably only make guttural noises like Whoa. So I will normally be speaking in this phase, the normal phase. Well, it always seems happy. And I quite like the tracking, the software I use. Let's just hide, overlay a bit, move myself a bit to the left so you won't see the gray the button that hides it. So I think that's all about my model. Oh, yeah, well, I'm supposed to say this. Regarding why I'm not looking much alike, like most of the pictures. Well, those pictures are really old, first of all, so yeah, you change over time. I didn't change to look like a VTuber or a anime type of person, but I modeled myself more after my young self, but with the gray hair, because otherwise I didn't think I would be quite that unique, like that recognizable. That's what I mostly try to make myself. And the other types of models I made where I look a lot older with a lot of wrinkles, they looked really weird, and I didn't really recognize myself in them. Don't recognize myself in this much, but this is well, acceptable. It's nice. It's a bit idealistic for me, and that's why I made this model. And I like it. It moves well and has no issues. It does have something that I want. It's eye tracking, but I don't know how to make that, and most of the software that makes it for you is quite expensive. So far, I've only used free software. So yes, you can also make this. It's all you need is V-Road Studios, VC Face, and OBS, and probably some editing software. I'm using Blender as editing software for videos. And as far as I know, get all that on a standard PC. Some of that even on an iPhone or other mobile devices. Oh yeah, you also need, of course, a microphone and a camera. Well, I'm using a webcam for this. No, don't worry, it's not sponsored. I didn't suddenly become a capitalist. And even if it did, you'd never find out. I'm just undermining my own argument. And last of all, I wanted to talk about this channel. I'm going to be using two types of channels. Two channels. One on YouTube and one on BitChute. I don't want to restrict myself solely to YouTube, and I want to promote some competitors. YouTube itself is a really good, well, really big platform. There's some issues with it, and healthy competition is important. So that's why I also made a BitChute account. I'll be linking both in the description. Well, BitChute account in the YouTube description, and vice versa. And then the types of videos I'll be making, they'll mostly be Let's Plays, and perhaps some meme videos, just meme reviews perhaps, or something like that. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but at least I'll be starting with Let's Plays. And I think that's everything about me. Well, I tried to summarize it, but I went off on a tangent once or twice. And if you still have any questions, just ask them in the comment section down below, and I'll be looking at it and replying there. So see you in the next video, and don't worry, I won't be ending this video suddenly.